Alright, so what's up everyone there, welcome back to the channel. Now today we are going to be reviewing Season 3 of Black Ops Cold War and Warzone. We've done this for the previous two seasons of Cold War and Warzone, so if you want to check those out, check the description down below where you can find the playlist of all the reviews of the previous seasons. Now just before we begin, if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you to everyone for showing the amazing support here on the channel recently, it has been really good. Hopefully we can keep it up with Season 4 just on the horizon. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then make sure you do so you don't miss out when I cover the new season. But with all that out of the way, we're going to get right into the review. I don't want to take too much of your time because this is going to be a longer video. So as always, we're going to start off with the Cold War multiplayer. So what we've had for Cold War multiplayer this season consists of the 4 new maps in the form of Yamantau, Diesel, Standoff, and Duga. We've had the 4 new game modes, Sticks and Stones, Multi-Team Elimination, and the 2 action hero game modes, which is Die Hardpoint and Rambo's Gun Game. The new kill streak is in the form of the Strafe Run. We've had 6 new guns this season. We've had the PPSH, the Swiss, the Carve 2, the AMP63, the Ballistic Knife, and the Baseball Bat. We've had the 4 new operators, which is Knight, Wraith, Price, and Antonov. And finally, we've had the 2 events, which is Hunt for Adler and the 80s Action Heroes. So we're going to start off by talking about the maps of Season 3. I just want to say real quick, I don't play multi-team or fire team or whatever it is, so I can't really have a comment on Duga. I don't really care too much about fire team, but the other 3 I can talk about. So we're going to start off with Yamantau. This is probably the best map in Cold War, I'm not going to lie. This map is just really good. There's so much good about it. It's a snow map. It's not too small, it's not too big. It has long range sections, short range sections. It has everything that anyone would want. It's a really good map. It's just overall, it just has everything in it, and I think it's great. I remember playing this map at the start of Season 3, and it actually made me want to play Cold War, which is actually incredibly rare, I'm not gonna lie. So next up we have the map Diesel. I don't really like this one as much, to be honest. I don't think it's bad. This is classed as a 2v2 map, but I think in 2v2 it is just way too big. So I could see what they were trying to do with this. Instead of adding just 2v2 maps, they wanted a kind of hybrid between the two so they can please both fan bases. If there is one for 2v2, but this doesn't really work as a 2v2 map, but in 6v6 it's actually pretty decent. It's playable, I would say. I wouldn't say it's anything incredible or, you know, anything as good as Yamantau. Finally we have Standoff. Obviously this is a great map. It works really well in Cold War. I was worried it wasn't going to work in Cold War because we've had that over the past 2 years with like Modern Warfare. Now we've had the odd remaster that doesn't really work with the game. But Standoff does, which is great to see. I mean, what is there to say about Standoff that hasn't been said in the past 9 years? I mean, it has long range, short range. It's basically like Yamantau, but not at the same time. It pretty much has everything. It has long range, short range, verticality, 3 lanes, blah, blah, blah. It's a perfect map. Okay, so next up we're going to talk about the game modes of Season 3. So we have Sticks and Stones, which is obviously a great game mode when we talk about that. We have Multi-Team Elimination, which I haven't played personally, but I've heard it's pretty good. This is essentially Blackout 2.0. So if you love Blackout, then this will be great. I personally didn't care that too much for Blackout, so I didn't check this out. I don't really care too much about it. If I wanted to play a Call of Duty BR, it would be Warzone, not Blackout. So I haven't checked this out, but I've heard it's pretty good, so that's cool. And finally we have the 2 action hero game modes, which is Die Hardpoint and Rambo's Gun Game. I haven't played either of these, but I think they're just wacky versions of what they're based off of, so Hardpoint and Gun Game. Not much else to say here. I mean, there were cool additions for the Action Heroes event, but they don't really add too much in my opinion. They're just kind of like, they're kind of novelties in my opinion. So now we're going to talk about the Strafe Run kill streak. I love this thing. The Strafe Run is an incredible score streak. It's amazing. So it costs quite a lot, but it does so much. So basically it does like 3 or 4 runs of the map, like a large section of the map. It kills pretty much anything that it touches, essentially. You have so much potential to get kills with this thing. I'm pretty sure every time it does a pass on the map, I get like at least 2 kills, up to like 4 or 5. It's ridiculous. And not only does it get a good amount of kills, it has the potential to shoot down score streaks as well. Not ones like a gunship or a harp or, you know, the ridiculous ones. I mean just ones like, say, a UAV or a CUAV. This thing can shoot them down, which is just an added bonus, really. So overall, an incredible score streak. Next up, we have the operators. I don't really know why I've put these in here. All we need to talk about is Captain Price. I mean, Captain Price is literally the best character in COD. No debate there. He's voiced by the same guy who does Modern Warfare, Barry Sloan. He looks cool. He's got like the Wetworks outfit from COD 4, which is really cool. All the rest, who really cares? If you want to spend money on them, then you can. That's kind of why they're there. And finally, we have the 2 events, Hunt for Adler and 80s Action Heroes. I don't really care about these events, to be honest. They just get you a bunch of stickers and charms and worthless shit that no one cares about. The blueprints aren't terrible, but they're not great either. Nothing really, once again, to have a party about or whatever. They're just kind of meh. But the events in Warzone and that aren't always that good. So all in all, for Cold War multiplayer, it's been a really solid season. This is the best season for Cold War multiplayer. This is the only one where I maybe want to play the game consistently. A couple of game modes we didn't talk about though are 12v12 and Face Off 6v6. These game modes are what made this season very fun. I love these modes where we have more players than we should on certain maps, if that makes sense. It's basically like OG Ground War, and that is one of the best modes in COD history. They kind of got rid of it, and now they've sort of brought it back with even more players. So I think that's really good, and those 2 modes are also, I'd say they're the best modes that were added. I didn't really want to put them in the main part of the video because they're not really like main game modes like say Sticks and Stones and multi-team elimination. They're brand new modes. These are just sort of like variant modes, if that makes sense, which I suppose Action Hero game modes are, but they're quite important as well. So all in all, this has been a great season for the multiplayer. Now we're going to move on to zombies. So everything that was added to zombies with Season 3 is Duga for Outbreak. We've had the field upgrade Toxic Growth. We've had the main Easter egg for Outbreak. We've had the Order Encounter for Outbreak. And we had the Crank 2 game mode for standard zombies. Is there a theme there? Yes, there is. Pretty much like all the content is for Outbreak, and you guys might know how I feel about Outbreak. If not, I'll quickly run it down now. I can appreciate how good Outbreak is. Like, I can see why some people like it, but I just don't think it's for me. If I want to play zombies, I just want to hop in, get my gun, upgrade it, and just go for high rounds, or hop in and do an Easter egg, or, you know, I don't really like the whole, you know, taking the map very slowly and methodically, and, you know, spending more time actually looking for crates and certain pieces of loot around the map instead of just killing zombies. I'm just there to kill zombies. So you can probably guess how I feel about this season's zombies. It's not been great, in my opinion. I mean, the only 2 things that I listed that are for standard zombies are the field upgrade, which is Toxic Growth, which I haven't even touched, I'm not going to lie. And we also have Cranked 2, which I haven't even touched, I'm not going to lie. I mean, what is there that's special about Cranked 2? I don't really get it. It's literally just like you have a timer for killing zombies. It's like Cranked for multiplayer. I don't really see the point in it. It might be more fun than standard zombies. I haven't tried it, so I'm not going to, you know, talk down on it or anything. But I just don't see the point personally. But the main thing I want to talk about for the zombie section is the main Easter egg for Outbreak. It's not that bad. I mean, you spend at least like an hour or 2 doing the main quest for it. The part that pisses me off the most about the main Easter egg for Outbreak is the boss fight. What the fuck were they thinking about the boss fight? So before we rant about that, I'm going to talk you guys through the main Easter egg. So you can't start the main Easter egg till you get to wave 3 or level 3 or whatever it's called. So you spend the first 2 waves sort of like prepping yourself, getting your guns upgraded, getting your perks, you know, blah blah blah. And you get to wave 3 and you press like a couple buttons. Like you go to a radio, you press a couple buttons, you go to the beacon, you call Samantha, be like Wagwan bitch. And that's pretty much it for wave 3. So then you're like, okay, let's go on to wave 4. Once again, it's sort of a similar thing. You like find a monkey or something, you get the film reels, you put it in a projector and you look at it, and then you're like, oh, we've got to go get Ravenov or something like that. I don't really know. And then you move on to the next wave, which is wave 5, and this is where everything happens. Everything previously was just sort of set up really to get to this point. Pretty much you spend the whole game just setting up for the silo section and the main boss fight as well. So you get to the silo section, which is classed as the main objective of the world, and it's actually pretty good, this section. I like the set piece of the silos. I think it's really cool. But I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I mean, the missile silos are cool. That's about it. Then you get to the boss fight, which is probably the most cancerous, annoying thing that I've ever had to do in zombies history. And I've done the Blood of the Dead Easter egg, which is one of the most cancerous, annoying things in COD history. This, I would say, comes close to it. The main reason is because of the 9-minute timer you have to complete the boss fight. Why in the fuck is there a timer for a boss fight? I don't understand that. So, the reason that there is a timer for the like the logic of the universe, like the story section of it, is you've just launched the missiles basically, but the missile silos have an obstruction on them, so you can't open the missile silos for the missile to launch, which makes sense. So you basically got to go up and defeat Legion, which is the boss, to clear the obstruction so the missiles can launch. But what annoys me is, why are the missiles trying to launch when there's an obstruction anyway? I mean, I would have thought it makes sense if Ravenov is controlling this, or the AI, or whatever it is, like, in terms of the story. This is what I'm saying anyway. I would have thought it made sense to pause this, the launch of the missiles until the obstruction is cleared, not give you a timer and just launch it anyway, because then you're all gonna fucking die. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you just not pause the launch so we can just take our time with the boss fight, and then you can launch the fucking missiles, you impatient cunt. It's just really annoying. I've tried to do this boss fight 3 times when it first came out. I haven't touched it since. And I've actually just straight up rage quit, like, attempting it. It's just so annoying. Everything beforehand is literally... It's not like it's an experience, like, for the Easter egg. It's literally just all prep and all setup, and then you got the side section and the boss fight. There's no Easter egg to it. It's literally a normal game of Outbreak, the silo section, and the boss fight, and it's just really boring, in my opinion. It's really not a fun Easter egg. I would have to say it's one of the worst Easter eggs I've ever done, purely just because of how boring and little there is to it. So, rant over. We're going to move on now from zombies. All in all, I'm looking forward to Season 4 with the new round-based map. Let's just forget about this season for zombies. We're going to move on to Warzone now. And this is probably the second biggest section of the video, if not the biggest, because there is a lot to talk about with Warzone. So we're going to quickly run through everything. If I've missed something, I do apologize, but I've just been talking about the main things this season. But this is probably the best season for Warzone. So we've had Verdansk 84, the nuke event, the Rebirth lighting update, the 80s Action Heroes map updates as well. We've had the game mode power grab, and finally a little section that I like to call Raven stepping the fuck up, which I'm actually really happy about that. So we're going to start off with Verdansk 84. I don't play Verdansk in Warzone. I don't play standard BR. I don't play in the LTMs. If I play Warzone, I'm playing Rebirth, because that, in my opinion, is way more fun than Verdansk and Verdansk 84. But I can appreciate this map update for what it is. I know a lot of people are saying, like, oh, we were expecting a brand new map, and it's just a reskin. It's a lot more than a reskin. I would look at it more of a rebalance of Verdansk, and I think that's what we needed, because Verdansk wasn't a bad map, and it wasn't a bad set piece. Not only that, it advances the story as well for Cold War. It's a story thing as well, instead of just going to a random part of the world, or just whatever, just to please the Twitter fanboys. It's a lot better, I think, for Verdansk 84 as opposed to a new map. It's sort of like letting go of old Verdansk, but also, like, not at the same time. I think it's pretty much the best of both worlds, in my opinion. But the lighting in it is a bit weird, compared to Rebirth, especially now. We're going to talk about Rebirth. The lighting update for Rebirth is really nice. Basically, it was weird before. It had, like, this, like, greenish tint to it, I think, or something like that. And now it has, like, a proper sunny set piece to it, and it looks gorgeous. Like, it looks so good. This needs to come to Verdansk 84. It just does. I mean, Verdansk 84 is really weird because it also has the, like, greenish tint. It's, like, really bright and colourful, but really dull at the same time. It's really weird. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. But the map is really dull and colourful at the same time. Like, I don't get how that works. But yeah, the Rebirth lighting update was brilliant. It looks gorgeous. I never had a problem with lighting, like, in terms of rose skins on Rebirth anyway. But this just makes it less of an issue than it was already. And not only that, we did also get construction replaced with the data center, I think it's called. I can't remember. The hole in the top of the prison is gone. And I think there's a couple more map updates here and there, but those are the main ones. So Rebirth is great. The nuke event, which introduced Verdansk 84, was really, really cool. But the server issues were dreadful. I mean, they need to sort out the servers for Warzone when they do an event. I personally didn't have too many issues with servers, but I know a lot of people did, and a lot of people didn't get to experience it, which was a bummer. But I think the event itself was really cool. I can see why they did it in 2 parts, you know, in retrospect, but it was kind of dumb at the same time. It would have been a lot cooler if it was in 1 part. I mean, I see why they did it, because obviously the whole transition of having the Season 3 update and keeping the map in the Season 3 update instead of having it beforehand or something like that. But at the same time, like, the 2 parts were kind of dumb. Like, the first part was the zombies part in Verdansk, and then you get nuked. And the second part was launching the nuke from Rebirth into Verdansk, which was kind of a pointless section. It was just kind of like an LTM. But all in all, yeah, this event was very cool. So, next up we could talk about the 80s Action Heroes map update. I don't play Verdansk, so this bit is going to be very quick. Nakatomi Plaza is very cool. What else is there? The POW camps. Okay. CIA outpost. Okay. But I have to say, the Nakatomi Plaza is very cool, though. I love the whole, like, mission where you open the vault and stuff, you get the specialist bonus. Obviously, that is gone now, but at the time, it was very cool. I don't know why they're getting rid of Nakatomi Plaza. I think that's a really, really dumb move. I think just keeping it in the game would be really cool, but maybe there's some kind of licensing thing. I don't really know, to be honest, but whatever. We're going to move on now to Power Grab, which I haven't played, but I've heard good things about. If you guys watch Exclusive Ace, he made a video talking about why this is his favorite mode. That did give me an incentive to play it, but I didn't, because I don't really know why. But it seems like a really good mode, so that's all I have to say on that. Finally, we have the main section for Warzone, which is Raven stepping the fuck up. So I'm going to quickly play you a clip from my Season 2 review, and this is me talking about my opinion on Raven at that time, so I'm going to let that play now. It's so dumb, honestly. I think what this whole Warzone thing proves is that Raven have no idea what they're doing. Like, the event was boring and shit. The new modes are introduced were shit. The FFAR and whatever meta was just shit. It was all just shit. I mean, if Resurgence didn't exist, then I wouldn't play this shit game. I don't get how it's so popular, but... Right. I need to take a breather. Hold on. Right. Yeah, as I was saying, overall, I just think Warzone could have been so much better. Like I said, I think this just proves that Raven are just really out of their depth with this thing, and it needs to be given back to Infinity Ward or something, because either that or put Sledgehammer on it, or just give them some fucking support. I mean, they're dying over there. What are they doing? You know what I mean? I don't understand, but... So as you can see, I thought very, very little of Raven at this point. Obviously, because we've lived through the Org FFAR meta for like months now. There's been tons of bugs, tons of issues. Their patch notes were dreadful. They did a complete 180 this season, and it makes me so happy. Because it was dreadful. Like, we had the worst meta ever. There was just the Org FFAR that was used, and that was literally it. Maybe the M16 as well. It seems like a wild dream compared to what we have now. I mean, what do we have now? What's the meta at the moment? I mean, you could say the AMAX is the meta, I suppose. But there's like 20, 30, maybe even 40 guns that you could use and do just as well with any others in the game, which is an incredible thing. So thank you, Raven, for that. Another part of it is the patch notes as well. I love it when developer teams or whatever, they do these patch notes and they have like descriptions on why they do things. So instead of just saying, we changed the damage from this to this, and the next gun, we did this to this, they actually do, they say that, and then they say why they did it. So like, if for the AMAX, they recently did a change where they changed the damage value by 1, which doesn't sound like a lot, but they talked about how this will reduce its effective damage range by like 17%, and you know, it actually does have a big effect on it, and it changes its time to kill, and they did it because they wanted to put the AMAX in line, and all of this other stuff. It's phenomenal. It's honestly just phenomenal. Once again, I love it when they do this. So Treyarch did this at the start of Cold War as well. I don't know if they still do it. I don't think they do. But at the start of the game, they did put like the paragraphs talking about why they did things, which is just the best thing, because it gives you a sense of like security, if that makes sense. So you kind of think, yeah, these guys know what they're doing, which is the best thing you can have. Because before Season 3, Raven was a fucking mess. Like, I don't even care. They were an absolute mess, but they've stepped up now. You know, the weapon balancing it could be better, I would say, but not for the reasons that you'd think. There are a lot of guns that are underpowered, underutilized, and just straight up forgotten about that need buffs, so I assume they're going to work on that next. But in terms of things that need to be nerfed, there isn't anything. And the patch notes, once again, are incredible. So, good job, Raven. Genuinely, it makes all of us who play Warzone so much happier when you do stuff like this. Like, it's just so much better. So, once again, thank you. Now, finally, we're going to have the quickest section of today's video. We're going to be talking about Modern Warfare. This, obviously, we've had nothing for Modern Warfare this season. Previous season, we had Kill House and the Psychov, but this season, we've had nothing. But there is still about a week left of Season 3. I think we could see one of the new guns tomorrow. Obviously, this is being uploaded on the Wednesday. I think we could see a new gun tomorrow on Thursday, and if we do, obviously I can't talk about it or anything, but there was nothing for Modern Warfare this season. There might be something tomorrow. If not, then Modern Warfare has been forgotten about again. But if there is something released tomorrow, like CX-9 or RAAL LMG, then I'm going to make a video on that, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Oh, this has been a really long video, I know, but there's been a lot to talk about with Season 3. This has been an incredible season, so I'm going to give my final score on Season 3. I'm going to give this season an 8 out of 10. I was thinking about giving it a 9 out of 10, but there's a couple things that I want to talk about before I end the video, why I didn't give it a 9. The multiplayer for Warzone is the best it's been ever. Like, it feels like what we should have got at launch. You know, we've got a bunch of good maps, we've got a bunch of guns and game modes and stuff. You know, it's all really good with Season 3 multiplayer. There isn't really anything I would, you know, say was bad about it. Warzone is all good. Like, there's nothing bad about Warzone at all. It's been nothing but positives the entire season. It's just been phenomenal. I don't really have much else to say about that. Obviously, Modern Warfare, we didn't really have anything, so that sort of downgrades the score. But the main reason that I gave an 8 and not a 9 or 10 is Zombies. Zombies has been a real disappointment this season, in my opinion. I don't care about Outbreak, and the only time I did care about it was doing the Easter egg for it, and it was a shit Easter egg, in my opinion. The final cutscene, I didn't talk about this earlier, but the final cutscene for the Outbreak Easter egg is not even fucking worth it. It's so bad. I mean, I'll probably play it in the background or something. If I don't, then I can just quickly describe it for you guys. Essentially, you launch the missiles, and then Raptor 1, which is your extraction helicopter, comes in and is like, yo, do you want to ride out of here? Basically. And then you fly away. And that's it. I could take the whole 9-minute counter for the final boss fight and everything. It'd been really difficult if it was a mind-blowing cutscene. Like, I don't know, they did something crazy, but they just didn't. It was just disappointing. So that's why I've downgraded it to 8 out of 10 instead of 9 or 10. Because of Zombies. It's purely because of Zombies, which is a complete inverse of last season. Everything was disappointing for the Season 2, apart from the Zombies, which was the only good part, in my opinion. But it's a complete 180 this season. It's just been dreadful. So that's all I have to say for Season 3. Tomorrow, we're going to be making a Season 4, not review, but sort of preview, because we have the reveal for that tomorrow. We also have Battlefield being revealed today, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to make a video on that as well. So yeah, that's all I have to talk about for today. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and also subscribe if you are new around here. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.